We're holding Amid 24. Says the Alter Rebbe, what's the whole concept of the Mishkan? He spoke in the previous two simonim about Mishkan is v'shachanti b'seich. Oyel Moyed means to bring Seviv Kol Alma, like he spoke in the yesterday. Total devotion to Hashem in Memale. Like it says regarding the Mishkan, V'ne'aditi l'choshama. I will meet you there. Seviv Kol Alma will meet Memale. V'odam Yoda. And like he said before, the Hiluch of Mahal Mendy. He spoke before in the first testimony that memale is that you're not out of yourself totally. You don't have total bittul to Hashem. You're still in yourself, and that's why it's fraught with difficulty. So he brings Eira Seven. The of Halicha is Zivu, relationship of Yesod and Ukva, etc. And like it, and Neida means Zivu, relationship. Like V'odam Yoda, because when a Yid tracht Chassidus, then he brings Eira Seviv in Memale. And you bring it in Shari Bin in the Shorim Neda Bashorim Nun Shari Bina that are in the Leiv and the Leiv Reya, and then when the Leiv is Reya, it becomes a cow. And that's the Indian of Mesiris Nefesh, which is the Filos Apayim and the totally devotion to Hashem, totally losing your agendas. That's it, I save it. So he says in Teirei Vayeshev Yaakov, when his desire is filled, and this is used for on Shabbos, that we get a higher level of godliness. The Eira Sefer, and this is Bnei Kehos. The Kehos, we're talking here, all this slew of 5 Maimorim of Kehos, Gershon, and Kehos brings the Eir Pnimi in an amazing desire to Hashem in a pnimistic way that your heart and mind understands it. And Bnei Gershon are Mamshit Roten and Mקיף, which are the Yerios. But they pull a person, they tug a person, they bring him higher to lose himself in God. More, it says he brings here that we find that there are 2 levels. Nevertheless, we say, just like he explained on the beginning of the Parsha, when you followed me in the desert without asking any question. Explained in the Kabbalah that in the Midbar there were only the Yichud, and in the Beis Hamikdash there were Panim B'Panim, which Achor is the level of the Skaf, Panim is Habche, and that's Eretz. What does it mean? Ubechanes hamishkan yokimois haLevim. When the Mishkan rests, the Levim had to put it up. What's the pshat? Ubechanes hamishkan peirush. Whenever the Alter Rebbe says peirush, it means a new pshat. Peirush. What's meant ubechanes hamishkan? When the Mishkan left its level, who stands it back up to Levim? By an neshama from a person when it comes into nefesh habahamis, and he feels that they're winning, who stands him back up? Ubachanei samishkan the Levim, they're me'ered gvuris kedeshes, and they bring him back up to be connected to the Eibishter. And this is like it's explained in the pasuk Elet Kodei Mishkan Mishkan Ha'edus. Avedas haLevim. Avedas haLevim is singing a cappella, Psuki de Zimra. And Psuki de Zimra is, you forget about yourself and you think about the greatness of Hashem. They bring up your malchus to Mishkan Ha'edus, to Abba V'Ima, to the level of Trein Rei and Yutke. Dosit Pshat, Ashkichon, Mishkan, the Ikre, Migdash, the Gemara says in Erevin, that even in Mishkan, they could pick it up to the level of Mikdash, to Ponim, through the Levim, through their Gvuris. They elevate us. Kitzer, Siv Gimel is, Mishkan is the Yichud, which is called Hiluch. And then there's Kalo. They bring down godliness. Eras say that in your life you should be totally lost of all issues to the Eibishter Velisha Chukose. Mishkan is only Iskafia Mitash Ponim Beponim. So since it's Ponim, it's Iskafia, so it could fall down. And you need the Levim to pick you back up. Says further in the Maimer, who brings this Kodesh Ma'akiv should be Shori B'teich Meyo, should be in your guts. It's through Gershon because they would carry the Yerias. And it says, we explained before the Yerias and Mishkan are the level of Seiv Kol Almin. And through the level of Seiv Kol Almin, Dafki, you're Megadish the Ra, the evil tendencies, like it says, Tev Lach Seis Hashem, Shem Hashem Ki Amilam. Dafki Amila means I cut them off. Through Bittul to Ratzon. And that's Pshat in Pirkei Avos. Battle it's saying, it's saying there's many ways in fighting the Ra. And one way of fighting the Ra, you're total and you don't want them. No, say you want what you normally don't want. What you didn't want, you don't want because you're total transformed. When you have Eramaki, Nedivim doesn't mean humans only because Avada, the Eibishter is better than humans. But he's talking Nedivim, the level of Memale, Seiv is better because you totally change. Because like he says before in the Ma'im, that Rotzin rules over the Voraguf and he could change your nature. So when you're Mevatel, you're Rotzin for the Rotzin that Eibishter, you change your nature. Because Rotzin is higher than intellect. Because you could want something, but you can't choose something against the Rotzin. When the Rotzin wants the foot to go on fire, it goes on fire. Because it's higher. First, you can't jump the steps. First, the Maimer says you have to have a seirit, say naked, saying cho. There's batil, that's the higher level. But the first level, the Mishnah is aseirit, say naked, saying cho. The level of Mali Kol Almin, then you have batil, saying cho, the Yeri'es. You can't start right away with Gershon. Says it's a Tzedek in the Hagoh. Therefore, first you need to have B'nai Midori, they put up the cross and that's Shitim Mendy. That's b'chol nafshecha, that's it. And then you have Yeri'es HaMishkan. Look here in footnote 238. He brings from the Eira Teira from the Tzemach Tzedek that through Gershon you can change the nature. the smell deiche, and it's better, but it's time kibor home. But when you totally chase it away, there's no ra. He explains us avode. He doesn't have to run away from the ra. The Torah is not bothering you, but he has ra, but he doesn't fight with it. But when you fight with it, when you have avode, you totally change the ra. And he says the level of Gershon is the level of Eved Elikim. But Kehos is the level of tzaddik v'torah. Fascinating. Then it says v'nasati loch mehalchin beino oimdim. Mehalchin is 2 levels in hiluch. Why the duplicacy? Because it's Gershon and Kehos. L'mayla. V'salachti b'seichechem. And the same is true, says the Alter Rebbe, the Ratzon in Baruch is higher than Bechira v'das. Bechira is rational, that's memale. You choose the good and you despise the bad, and that's das ubachat ubachayim. That's the level of midori. It's das, it's memale. He knows that life and teiro mitzvahs are good and moves is ra. This is das. That's what it's called ve'itzadas ilon and tevera. But the level of Gershon and Kehos is rotzonel and higher than bechira v'das, higher than eitzadas, and you could do things higher than you more normally could do on your own if you're only in the level of memale, like he says in the Moshel, that the Rotzen can do heipich hateva, you can put your foot in fire. Same is true by the Bitul Rotzen is hard and bechira v'das. Says b'chat ubachayim, there's hard and b'chat ubachayim. This is what it says. It's the says more than Tzemach Tzedek that we could say more. Regarding Gershon, it's like it says, Gershon, it chases it away. Like Gershon, the moon makes new cucumbers come up. Everyone has an ava mesuteres in their heart, big gilu. That's me, gilu levanenozem, me save kolamin, and they take out the yid's ava mesuteres, helen like gilu. Says in the Parsha about Shnei Greshim that it's chesed and gvura that Tiferes chases them and gets into kava and tzoi and is mates achesed. This is about Gershon, you chase away the Shabamis, and the Shabamis gets chased away, and it's also mate klapi chesed, and you bring out the ava nefshus legiloi. Thus is Gershon Yerochim. What's it? The Loshin Yerochim of the Tzemach Tzedek, Yerochim is Reyach, connected to Mashiach, this high level. V'arichoi b'yiras Hashem. So, in my Nikitze, that this is Yirios Lachsois, Ki Amilam battle with Sencha. First has to be Asirit Sencha from a Rori, the Rotzen Atachtein, which is only Matzishitim Emdim. Then there's Gershon Aigon Sheu, Gershon Yerochim. And Migila the level of Sevukah Almin shines by you, and you become in a level of Yerochim Barichayneach Beni, which is connected with the highest level. This is the level of Gershon that carried the Yirious HaMishkan. Because Gershon is he chases away the evil through Bittul Rotz. It's Megaris that after Sevukah should be Kodesh Shori B'teich Meyo, they carried it. But the Avedis B'nei Kos is higher, they carried the Shulchan V'neira Oren and Kaperis. As Kehos is a sifra v'chibur, and these kelim of the Mishkan are from the middle nekuda. Shebetei ha'igol sha'igol ma'akif v'soy v'sanekuda. There the ikir primis sanekuda, everything surrounds the orin with the two luchis. The main thing is the nekuda. Even if you have a lot of explanations, the main thing is that they're prerequisites in order to be able to understand the Nekuda. Like Shemayim is Yiriot Makif. Nevertheless, what's the main point the main point is Eretz, and Eretz Kodma Eretz is in the middle of the galaxies. And the galaxies are great, but they're in order to be able to create a world. Same thing is Igulim and Yesher, the Sadip in Yechsides. And even though Igulim is Mekif and Igulim is greater than Pnimi, because Igulim can't come down into Air Pnimi because it's too high. Nevertheless, the shadish of Air Pnimi is higher than Igulim. Igulim is Nefesh Yesher is Ruach, Viken Dozain, because that's the main Rotzen and Kabbalah that Eibishter B'nai Elomis. He wants that a Jew at Air Pnimi should change the world. He doesn't only want to be Igulim. Eagles, the Yiris, Mahilim, Ala Mishkan, they cover the Mishkan like the Shemaim, like Gershon. But the Veda Prekos is to carry the clay on Mishkan. Then it put them Tzoyis, because the order in that there was the Kedesh Kadoshim is Teda, there were Luchas. Like Moses says, once that the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, the Eibush only restaurant Yid learns Teda. In Daled Amishel Alocha, and Teda is the main Nekudah. What the whole eagle is for that main Nekudah. Because Teda is Pnimi, like it says, Eiraisom Chochma Denaftis. And in Chochma, it is Save Shans Bigila, like it says, Avai B'Chochma Pnimi, because the main Kavona, even though Mekif is higher, the main Kavona is Pnimi and Gilui, and also the Mitzvah Smaisi is out from this Nikuda, Tichenis, this main Nikuda. This is Teda Mitzvahs that come from this main Nikuda. They're higher than the eagle, even though you think that they're lower, because they're Pnimi doing a physical mitzvah, putting on film, a physical box, or understanding a concept what's limited. But it says in Avram Avinu Sefer Yitzira that no, it's Tchilosan B'Sefer B'Tchilosan at the highest level is no, it's B'Sefer Dafke. In the lowest level, so Teda mitzvahs, even though it's dealing with a fleshike spoon and a milchike pot, and all these. You could see in tedious things, but Dorten is the Shadish and Dorten is the eagle. That's the main Kavona, even higher than eagle. So that's why Kehos, even though Gershon is Yerios, Kehos is greater. Shadish of Teda Mitzvahs is from this main Nekuda. And the eagle is only helping the Nekuda. Mekif le'anekuda, like it says, go. That's what the Eibishter, Igulim and Yesher are the same, and maybe Yesher higher because that's the Kavona Pnimis. And this is what we say Asher Kiddushon b'mitzvah through Teda and through mitzvahs that are higher than Teda, because God will Talmud Shemei V'Debaisa. You bring down that the Kodesh should be shorted b'teich meyon in a air pnimi, that the Ramach mitzvah says that come from Eiri Yisboreh. When the Tzeni Yisboreh should come lemato and tzitzis and film, that's no, it's bitchila, the highest level of Kodesh, that should be Kodesh shorted b'teich meyon. It brings you on the bottom from Eira Teda from the Tzemach Tzedek. Even though Seder is higher and Air Pnimi is lower. So how could the cost be higher than Gershon? Thus, Pshat doing the Maimed, look at the Teda, that there's something in Pnimis that's greater than the eagle, like the Nekuda. And the eagle, the main thing is the Nekuda, and the circles for the Nekuda. So even though Air Pnimi is lower, because Air Pnimi is only a Z, it's a Teda mitzvahs. They're the purpose of creation. They're the Nekuda Shebeteicha eagle. You make a circle around the eagle. And it goes down in Pnimi. So that's why it says Dafke by Kehos, Avedas HaKedesh Aleim, because they bring it down. And they bring down Kodesh without a vof. Naso, it brings down that the main thing is Teda Mitzvahs. There's a fascinating story I heard from Abnela Tzibur. There's a chassid of Yaakov Motul Mispal. And he would daven and he would learn. And He only slept on a bench. He reached very high levels. Towards the end of his life, he said, I wish I slept on a bed. Because even if I slept on a bed, I would be able to put on tefillin one more day, and that's greater because that's the nekuda of the eagle. The circle, it's offered a mitzvah. Dafki with mitzvahs, no, it's safe with chilas, and only with mitzvahs do you take out. And the Melech told us that Chassidim would say that only a yid that slept on a bench 20 years could have had the greatness of Torah mitzvahs and want another day. Those are the pshat. Weiter in the Maimer, David, Mishanesi, is Tamil, Lifnei Amel, Avimelech is Malchus, which is Mechaya, all the worlds. Avimelech is Seviv Kol Almin. Those in Pshat Mishanesi, is Tamil, he changed himself for Avimelech, because Dafke Seviv, the higher Madrigas, could change you. This is the difference in Bob Yemei HaMais, 6 days of work. This capital, the Shanesi is Tame, we only say on Shabbos. Svov, Yemei HaMais, there's only Skafia, but Shabbos is Bitl Rotzen Legamri. Totally has no other Rotzen, and this is Bishanesi is Tame. He changes his Rotzen, it should be only for Hashem. This is Shabbos, you get the level of his Hakus, Rotzen. Shanesi is Tame, you change yourself, but in the weekdays you're fighting, you're struggling with the anxieties without a choice. It's a scarf. Who does Bishanesi is Tame? It's Kehos, because Bichochmi is Period. That's Pshat here in the Maimer, but the Medrash Bamidbar. He says Gershon is Chozok is Shem, Bishanesi is Tame. He has bitter Amidas. Chinas Kehos, he says in Keyo HaBazel. That Kehos is something higher than changing the midah. It's the strength not to be ruined. It's an extra strength. The Emu says, V'ovad Levi who is Atik, they bring Atik to be Mehelim Elagilui. That's why they carry the Orim Ponim face to face. The two groups of the Kohanim carried face to face. I mean, it was Levine, the Kehos. It was Achir Ba'achir because the Pnimis of Hashem shine, and they are misaking the level of the Hulei Ponim. Explains in Medrash and Kehelis what does it mean Hulei Ponim, that the Eibush is not Masbir Ponim. He's not happy with the generation because of things that went on. How do you fix it? This is the level of Kehos. This is the Maimer Aseret Sein Chokitzein. 6 days a week is lower level Aseret Sein Chokitzei. Shabbos is battle. You change. You want what the Eibishter wants. Like he explained before, Bishanesi is Tame. This is what it says, like Chazal say that you didn't give Panosa to the Eibishter. And this is through them totally changing, they have a Panosa to the Eibishter. It comes from Aaron Kandra, which is Av and Abba, the Abba Misuteris. This is why it says Nasi Yisreish B'nei Gershon Gam Hei. And only Nasi Yisreish only says by B'nei Kasa B'nei Gershon. Not by B'nei Merori like it says in Medrash. Because Merori is memamleh. So you didn't lift the head. It says, there's two levels. One is the level of Rus of the that's B'nei Gershon. Strong mitzvah. This is because they also say Nesias Reish, Revim Miskeren, that has after Atzi Shitim Eimdim by name Menori, that it doesn't say Nesias Reish. This is the 42 levels that the Jews traveled in the Mishkan and the Midbar. It's Aliyahs, then Beis Aliyahs, Shemad, which is honor Bikeah, that they traveled 42 times. They set up the Mishkan. Then they took apart the Mishkan, they went to a higher level, and it was in the midbar. These Masois were in the midbar. Because even the highest worlds are midbar, they're shmama klapi Hashem. And they go higher and higher, realizing that everything is midbar. So it says that Tzemach Tzedek, that the 6 days a week that you fight with difficulty, that's traveling in the Mishkan. They took it apart, they went higher and higher. Shabbos is where they rested, and they put up the Mishkan. Then he says, it says regarding these carryings, that it was a biyadi somar benad and akene who makes these elevations. Isomar is the letters of Teda, like it says in the Gemara Itmar. We learned by itself. As Hashem's words va'osim dvarim come out of our mouth. That's Isomar, because through a Jew learning Teda, he has all the aliyahs. Yasher koyam.